the Western Front. But in fact, in March 1918, the German army launches Kaiserschlacht, the Kaiser's battle, their last chance offensive. Knock the British army out of the war, drive a wedge in a sandbagged emplacement. Imagine this is a bit of a ruined battlefield, old trench systems, rusty barbed wire, things like that, something like the Somme. The British army is pushing forward. And you can see British infantry, cavalry, sometimes assisted by tanks, pushing forward, trying to drive the German army back towards Germany, and to secure the lines of communication so we can actually get forward. Now, a lot has happened since 1914. The basic unit, the infantry section, 8 guys. Back at the start, it's 8 guys with rifles and bayonets. Now there's a lot more firepower. There are things like Lewis guns, lots of grenades. And the German army have been developing Sturmtruppen tactics. Contact front. British infantry under fire, coming forward, taking cover. A German artillery battery, a 77mm battery, has come in, and they are firing from about a kilometre away, just about over open sights, dropping a few rounds in. German soldiers, the Lanzer, are shifting position. They are taking possession of that eminence, that high ground, getting better artillery fire. And now it's a bit of a stalemate. It's a firefight. We can't go forward, so what we're going to have to try and do is flank that German position, drive them out of it. The far side of the arena, we have a British Mark IV tank just trundling in. It is not an original. The originals are over 100 years old, they're very fragile, so we can't unfortunately run them anymore. If any of you have seen the film War Horse, you've seen that tank, because it's a very good replica that was built by Steven Spielberg for War Horse. British Mark IV, and then secondary armament in the form of Hotchkiss guns, machine guns, one on either sponson and one up at the front. The reason it's got those red and white stripes on is because this is a period when the German army had actually captured a number of British tanks. They were using them against us. So from the period of Amiens onwards, 1918, we put those markings on to distinguish British tanks from Beuterpanzer, captured British tanks used by the German army. Think about what it must be like to be a German soldier, on foot with a rifle. One German NCO lost his nerve, ran off down the trench shouting, "There's a crocodile coming, there's a The problem with tanks of the period, they're not like tanks of today. That's not a fast-moving, hard-hitting weapon of exploitation. That's not Challenger 2. It moves. On the road at about 4 miles an hour. Off the road, it's about, because what it's doing here is moving in front of the tank and use it as a big metal shield, while the tank uses its armour to suppress the opposition. German army firing back is basically a Maxim design, pretty well much the same as the British Vickers gun in lots of ways. It is not going to make much impact on that tank. It's deadly against infantry. It'll side you down. But tank armour, those rounds are going to bounce off. They did experiment with a type of armour piercing round, the SMK, the Spitz mit Kern, but that's, again, the Mark IV. It's got better armour, it's not going to be that effective. Now, over on the other side, we're not the only people with tanks. And this is an extraordinary monster. Absolutely massive. 18-man crew. 5.7 Nordenfelt gun sticking out the front. And then an absolute, really not very good. The Germans didn't really believe in tanks. They only built about 20 of these things. And von Ludendorff expressed the opinion, well, they're probably no use, but we'll use them anyway. Its main problem, apart from the fact it's slow, is they were a bit unstable. If you get that onto rough ground, it's got a tendency to fall over. That armour is bulletproof, but it certainly won't stop the 6-pound shell. So the NCB is knocked out. That German machine gun is still firing. More artillery dropping in. Tank is firing, knocked out the machine gun. More artillery. British Army doing an advance to contact. And it looks as though we've knocked the fight out of the Lancer. Hands up. It's an original vehicle. Over there, just coming on, is a Liberty truck. Now that truck is over 100 years old. That's a First World War original. Built in the USA. It's not exactly fast. It's got a maximum speed of about 15 miles an hour on the road. But depending on the type of bed it has, it can carry either 2.5 or 5 tons of supplies. So it's an excellent logistic vehicle. On this occasion, the Liberty truck, they built about 9,000 of them, is coming around.
Give them a wave as they go past. Of course, you can catch up with the reenactors and you can see some of the vehicles in the reenactment area and also in the tank park during its opening times. You'll find those in the rear of the programme. If you haven't got your programme yet, you can get those from inside the Tank Museum and also at the Friends of Tank Museum gazebo, which is just outside the main entrance.
They poured millions of tons of concrete into defences along the coast. It was clear that courage and conventional tanks would not be enough to crack Hitler's Atlantic Wall. The ill-fated Dieppe raid of 1942 had proved how difficult an invasion would be. But lessons were learned. Creativity, innovation, and technical ingenuity would be essential.